I may be a little late to this news, but Red Eyes has new support, or I guess more like a card or two, but it's Red Eyes Black Fullmetal Dragon. Look how absolutely cool this card is. The second I saw this card, I knew I had to buy it, so I did. But I had to dust off the old Red Eyes deck that was sitting in the back of my closet, and we're whipping it out, we're revamping it, we're taking a look at the cards. I may not even use the deck, but you know what, that's the fun of it. This new card, Red Eyes Black Fullmetal Dragon, look how cool it is. It's just a metal Red Eyes. This is literally one of the, like, this is what I ask for in card design and art. It's just like a cyber dragon, but it's not. It's like a Red Eyes, but it's a machine. Anyway, this card's super cool. 3400 attack, 2400 defense. This is like a revamp of the old Fullmetal Dragon, and they got like the Metamorph card, so it's actually usable now in the current Yu-Gi-Ohs, which is pretty cool. This card also does burn too. It negates, it burns, it kills everybody. It's a machine. It's really cool. Over the last week or so, I've been looking at this card a little bit too much. Like, I thought Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon was cool. Then they came out with this thing. How cool is that? Anyway, though, let's get into my current deck, what I put together. Definitely need some things to note. Don't copy this deck. I don't know anything what I'm doing really in Yu-Gi-Oh! I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh! In like a year. I haven't played Red Eyes in over a year. I don't even know what the current meta is. I just want to put my deck together and look at the cards. This is more of like a theory crafting video and me just wanting to take the cards out and talk about them. Don't copy the deck, but definitely feel free to leave some pointers down below or tips. Definitely not a competitive player, not taking this to some YCS. I'm also going to be focusing more on the burn aspect because I think Red Eyes is I think it just fits the Red Eyes archetype a lot. And I want to explore that a little bit further. Anyway, we got one Red Eyes Black Fullmetal Dragon. In case you don't know what this does, it needs to be first special summoned with max Metamorph. And then you need to tribute a level 5 or higher dragon monster. If this is also in your hand, you can reveal it and then put it back in your deck and then get a Metamorph card, or you actually set a Metamorph card from your deck, which is actually really good. So it's not like a brick in the hand, because it's not a brick at all, because it allows you to essentially set up to even play this card in the next turn. So when this card is on the field, it actually has a quick effect. It's pretty good. You can negate when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can negate the activation, then you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the original attack of one attack position monster your opponent controls. You can only use the effect once per turn. So essentially you get to negate and omni-negate anything and then burn your opponent's life points depending on one of their attack position monsters, or the attack of one of their monsters. That's pretty awesome. You do it every turn. It's a negate. Like, that's crazy. I kind of wish it was one of our own monsters, but that would be a little bit too busted because this thing's at 3400 attack. The deck text I saw online only ran one of these. I think it's really powerful. I'm kind of tempted to maybe run two, because I hate running one of things that are really good, and not that you need it for the game or the deck, but it's just so good. So if something happens to this boy, I'm going to be kind of sad, but you probably only need one in the deck, as there are a lot of ways to find it. And once it's on the field, yeah, it's so good. I could see two. I could see the case for two, but I think realistically one is probably acceptable. Yeah, absolutely need one of those. So cool. Next up in the deck, we got Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. This was probably my favorite Red Eyes monster. Maybe, I mean, Meteor. There's so many cool ones, but I think Red Eyes Darkness Metal was one of my favorites. It just looks so cool. The effect is even really good too. I actually just bought this copy of this one. I had only like common versions for some reason. Like, you can't have a common version of your favorite card, you know. So I picked this up. 2800 attack. You can special summon this card from your hand by banishing one dragon type monster you control. Once per turn, you can special summon one dragon type monster from your hand or graveyard except Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. So essentially it's like a free summon, because we have so many dragons. You can just play like any other dragon. Got some like little combos, kind of remember too, like, you know, we'll get there maybe eventually, but there are monsters you contribute and then you get some additional synergy or effects off. And then you get another free dragon from your hand or graveyard. That's just dumb. That's just a dumb card. These two cards right here, so powerful, but you really don't need, you don't need more than one. I can see the case for maybe one more of these, maybe two of these, but I think one is fine. Next up, we got three Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon. This was one of the newer cards that actually got me back into the Red Eyes archetype. It's actually good. The artwork on this is also just so clean. It's like coming out like lava. Anyway, you can send one level 5 or higher normal monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand, then increase its level by 1. That's important because then it becomes level 7. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 Red Eyes Fusion from your deck or graveyard to your hand. You can only use each effect blah blah once per turn. Black Meteor is really good because we can get a Red Eyes in the graveyard. We can also get a Red Eyes Fusion, which was probably the best card in the whole deck, into our hand. It also helps us like recycle it too if it is in our graveyard. As we're going through this deck too, I'm kind of relearning this deck in a sense, because again, I haven't seen this in a while, a lot of these cards, but my memory is coming back to me. But Black Meteor, really good. Getting Red Eyes into the graveyard, and most importantly, getting Red Eyes Fusion to our hand. Yeah, as long as this card's in your graveyard, as long as it wasn't the turn it was sent there, you can then banish it and get Red Eyes Fusion from your deck or graveyard. I think some people have seen run 2 of these cards. I don't know. I just think 3 it's too good. And you're going to be banishing at least probably one of them. It's like a free special summon. You get the Red Eyes into the graveyard. To me, there's too many pros of not running 3. But again, what do I know? I don't know why we did that card first. We should have went Red Eyes first. I mean, we got the 2 like big boss monsters, but we got 3 Red Eyes. You got to run 3. And this card is literally needed for the deck. Anyone who says less than 3, it's just wrong. I like this art the most. I don't really know why. It just looks the most like dark. I mean, all the Red Eyes arts are cool, but just love this one. Yeah, you need this card. It's pretty obvious. The whole deck is based around it, and we're constantly setting up to the graveyard and such. So 3 Red Eyes. 3 Black Metal Dragon. This is like the starter of the deck. It's a 1-star. It has like an equip effect, but you don't really use it that often. The secondary effect is if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Red Eyes card from your deck to your hand, except Red Eyes beat Chick. So you get your Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon, you get your Red Eyes Fusion monsters, you get your Red Eyes Black Meteor, you get anything you want as long as it says Red Eyes in it. Essentially, you can get the whole deck. You get your Red Eyes Insight and Red Eyes Fusion. Can't get Infernal Fire Blast, which is kind of sad. Get the Return of the Red Eyes. Yeah, if a guy has Red Eyes in the title, you can get it. That's why it's so good. And you can easily link this off with a lot of the cards in our deck, so that is why you need 3. It essentially starts almost all your plays. I need to get the better rarity, but it's expensive. You got 1 Red Eyes Soul. This has got a lot of text on it. I'm going to try and shorten this card, but it's a Red Eyes when it's on the field or in the graveyard. If your opponent special summons a monster, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard and special summon a Red Eyes monster from your hand or deck, except Red Eyes Soul. So that's sweet. You get a Red Eyes, you get Red Eyes from Meteor. Also, it has a quick effect. You can target 1 Red Eyes Black Dragon you control and inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. You can only use this once per duel, but man, that just adds a nice sweet burn effect. I did have more than 1 copy in here. I think I had like 3, and I was like, that's a lot. And then I had 2, and then even 2. The fact that you can only use that 1 effect once per duel, you can search this out with Black Metal Dragon. It's also like a level 7. It's a Red Eyes in the graveyard. There are ways you can get it out and when to use the effect. I think it just kind of doesn't clog up, I would say, the hand or anything, but there's just so many things to run that probably 1 Red Eye Soul is okay. If the burn effect wasn't once per duel, we'd probably have at least 2 in the deck, but just 1 for now. Though the fact that when your opponent special summons a monster, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard and just get a free Red Eyes on the field, it does make it really cool. It's tempting to run more of those. I don't know, but for now we'll keep 1 because that's really all I had room for doing this. Got 1 Red Eyes alternative Black Dragon. I know this card might not be the best, but man, it is awesome. So you can't normal summon it. You must first special summon it from your hand by tributing a Red Eyes monster from your hand or field. Oh wait, I just realized you can do it from your hand too. If this card is destroyed by battle, or if this card is in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can target 1 level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster in your graveyard, except basically this card, special summon it. And if it was Red Eyes Black Dragon that was special summoned, its original attack becomes double. So, I mean, there's a lot of removal and things going on in Yu-Gi-Oh! So I would anticipate, like, if this thing were to get destroyed by something, essentially, a card effect, or by battle, I can get a Red Eyes monster back from the graveyard, put it on the field, and it's going to have 4,800 attack. That's crazy. And then if we take Red Eyes Soul, we could deal 4,800 attack to someone's life points. So Red Eye's Soul does state it must be, or it's equal to the monster's original attack that it will deal, you deal the damage. However, Alternative Black Dragon does state that if it was a Red Eyes Black Dragon that was special summoned, its original attack becomes double. So its original attack no longer is 2,400. Maybe someone correct me if my ruling is wrong. I think that is quite right. So kind of spicy. So that is all, I guess, for the Red Eyes monsters. Now we got the new cards. I guess we'll throw Dark Magician because you do need it for the Dragoon. Such a good card. Next up, we got the new card, Metal Illusionist. This is just essentially a way to get your Metamorph cards, and that's needed to get the Red Eyes Black Fullmetal Dragon on the field. You can increase this card's level by 4 during your opponent's turn, so that does turn on, or you're able to attribute this card to summon Fullmetal Dragon. If this card is normal or special summon, you can set one Metamorph trap from your deck. Then if Max Metamorph is in your graveyard, you can draw a card. You can declare one other monster type. This card becomes that type to the end of your opponent's next turn. So again, this card, Fullmetal Dragon, needs a level 5 or higher dragon monster. And so this can become a level 5 or higher dragon monster on your opponent's turn. I have 2 in the deck. I don't really know how many you would need. Like this can get you the Max Metamorph. These get you Max Metamorph. I think I have 3 Max Metamorph in the deck. Do you even need this card at all? I'm not sure. I think 2 is a good starting point to test it out. At least one of them I think you would need because we are running 1-for-1. But again, the only thing this card really does is get you your cool guy. I added 1 Rocket Synchron to the deck. This was a card that was recommended in the previous videos that we talked about with Red Eyes. It's level 1, so you get it with 1-for-1. When this card is normal summoned, you can target 1 level 5 or higher Dark Dragon monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position, negate its effects, destroy it at the end phase. Also, you can add special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except Dark monsters. This card's cool because we can kind of get a Red Eyes back for free. A lot of the times too, like we're going to have our normal Red Eyes or a normal monster Red Eyes in the graveyard, so like having its effects negated isn't really going to do too much. But this just kind of seems like a free way getting a Dark Dragon on the field, which is again almost our entire deck. This could help us with some of our X, Y, or Xyz plays, and just things like that, even like some fusion summoning. Again, that was a recommendation. I think it's pretty good. I haven't actually seen the power of it, but we'll see how it works. Next up, I got a Bestial card, Bestial Magnamut. I think everybody kind of knows what Bestials do, but they're kind of just free cards you get to summon. This is a Dark Dragon too, so it does fit the archetype. There were some other Bestial cards. I think Bestial was a Druid Swarm and Baldrake. The Baldrake, I have a couple copies. I just can't find them, but they're pretty cheap. But the Druid Swarm is a little bit more expensive, and I don't really feel like spending money on that right now. I think it was like 15 bucks, maybe 20. Didn't feel like it. So if we really want it that bad, we'll get one. But I thought this was a good enough one to add just for now. But it's kind of almost like a hand trap, a free summon. Good card overall. Got 2 Ash Blossoms in the deck. Main reason we have this is because I'm running Cross out, because if you Ash Blossom Red Eyes Fusion, you lose the game. So we don't want to lose the game, so might as well run Ash. It's also just a good hand trap. I don't know if it's still that good, but it's good against our deck, and we've got to play against it. Moving on to some spells and traps, we got Red Eyes Insight. Send 1 Red Eyes monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard. Add a Red Eyes spell or trap card from your deck to your hand, except Red Eyes Insight. This card's good. We get to fill our graveyard up with a Red Eyes, and we get any Red Eyes spell we want. Really good. I've seen some people only run like 2. I can see a reason to. I can see the logic, but you kind of want this in your opening hand in a sense, because what this basically says is it's you get a Red Eyes Fusion and you get some other Red Eyes in your graveyard. You can even send like Red Eyes Black Meteor, put that in the graveyard, and you can't banish it that turn, but you're still setting up for the next turn. If you think about playing like a very long game, yeah, I can kind of see like maybe you don't need 3 of them, but again, starting that card in your hand I think is really good. Next up, we got 2 Red Eyes Fusion. I know, again, a lot of people have seen or been playing with like only 1, because there are a lot of ways to get it. We get it with Black Metal, you can get Red Eyes Insight. Don't really need 2, but again, if a card is that good, I really don't want to. I'm scared that something's going to happen to one of them, so I'd rather have 2 just in case. So, yeah, this essentially says summon Red Eyes Dark Dragoon and win the game. So that is definitely a win condition. I got 3 Cross out. I don't really know what. I think definitely 2 or 3. I think just keeping 3 because I don't know about the ratio in crossout, if like 2 is okay or is 3 like you really need it. But we're running 3. This just kind of says if someone ashes us, we can send an ash from our graveyard or to our graveyard, we can negate the effect. I think we do need to add at least 1 or 2 other hand traps, and we'll get to it in a little bit, but I think about Imperm. Imperm might be the option. It's also just a really good card. Maybe not hand traps, but just like cards that are very effective against our or this deck. And we do need to run the card in our deck too. So, got a Return of the Dragon Lords. Target 1 level 7 or 8 dragon type monster in your graveyard. Special summon it, and if it's dragon, so it's like a monster revive for your dragons. But the more important thing is, if a dragon type monster monsters you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. Oof, spicy. I think like 2 of these is probably a lot better, but just really protect your boys, your dragons. Definitely need it, especially when there's just so much removal out there. Running 3 of this card I think is probably wrong, as it's like it almost acts as like a surprise factor. Like if your opponent knows you got 3 of them, well, they're going to be playing around it a little bit. But if you got 1 just lingering in the graveyard of your deck, they're probably not going to really be playing around it. But maybe there's some other thoughts probably about that. People might think that's dumb. Got an Infernal Fire Blast because it's Red Eyes. Target 1 face-up Red Eyes be dragon control. Inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. Again, this is a bird deck. I'm being realistic with this deck in a sense too. Like, I know we can't run 3 Infernal Fire Blast. I don't think the playing against other people's decks would let us do that. But if you got 1, hey, I think that's fine. Awesome card though. Got a 1-for-1. This allows us to just get some stuff out of our hand and actually make it viable. We got options like the Rocket Synchron, we got Metal Illusionist, and most importantly, Black Metal Dragon. We can get those out in the field for free. Easy way to special summon. We got a Harpy's Feather Duster, one of my favorite, I guess just magic, or yeah, one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards. It's also a spell card. I definitely like Change of Heart more. I think we got to add Change of Heart. I got it over here somewhere. Got Call by the Grave. Again, we don't like hand traps. Got 3 Max Metamorph. This is the new card too. Tribute 1 face-up monster. Special summon 1 monster that cannot be normal summon or set. That mentions Max Metamorph from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Then you can equip this card to it with the following effect. The equipped monster gains 400 attack and defense. It cannot be destroyed by spell or monster effects. Also, your opponent cannot target it with monster effects or spell cards or effects. That's crazy. You get like this Omni Negate that has now 400 more attack. It burns every time you're able to negate something, and then you can't even like target, or you can't even interact with it, or it can't be destroyed. I guess you could target it, but no. It cannot be destroyed by spell or monster effects. Also, your opponent cannot target it with monster effects. That's like the best card in the game. Max Metamorph equipped with Fullmetal Dragon is essentially the card I've been waiting for like Red Eyes or maybe even like Cyber Dragon for so long. You can't even target it. You can't interact with it. It wins the game. I think 3 here might be a little excessive, as we do have 2 Metal Illusionist, and we can also get it with our Fullmetal Dragon. Again, the card's really good, but might be a little bricky. But we'll see. Or not bricky, but just it's a lot of Max Metamorph because we only got 1 target, you know. Time Engine. This is such a cool artwork card. This card is always treated as a Metamorph card. So you can search it, from my understanding, you can search it with Metal Illusionist. If a monster you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, there's a lot of text on this card, target 1 of those monsters, special summon it. Then if you special summon a level 5 or higher machine monster by this effect and have a Metamorph trap on your field or graveyard, except this card on the field, you can apply this effect. Destroy as many monsters your opponent controls as possible, then you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to that special summon monster's original attack. So essentially, if this thing's destroyed by battle somehow, and you activate this card, you can re-special summon this card, and then you wipe your opponent's board and you deal massive amounts of damage. I gotta be reading this card wrong. There's no way it's that awesome. Or I guess my naive level of Yu-Gi-Oh! And understanding is not allowing me to see why this card is bad. This just seems insane. Probably gets negated or something, but such a cool card. You got Return of the Red Eyes. This card's really good at like a long-term game, or like long games. I'm not gonna read the whole card. I'll probably put it on the screen. But you can just revive like a Red Eyes every single turn and put it on the field. Like I I remember playing some games like a year ago, and I'm like, I get to keep reviving these red eyes, and yeah, you just can. So, and you can search it too. I don't think it really. I think it's good enough where you kind of have to have one. Same thing with like, what is it, Chimera Tech Overflow in Cyber Dragon decks. It's just, it's not like the card you want to see, but when you need it or you want it or it's on the field or you know, it's just like, wow, that was crazy. So definitely want at least one of them, or you only need one of them. You definitely don't need more than one. Anyway, last card we got is Gravedigger's Trap Hole. When your opponent activates a monster effect in their hand or graveyard, or when your opponent banished or when your opponent's banished monster effect is activated, negate its effect, and if you do, inflict 2,000 points of damage to your opponent. Ooh, that's a burn card right there. We need that for the deck. Tempted to run like 3 of these. However, I think I made that mistake like last year, or again, whenever I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Previously with this deck. When the Gravedigger's Trap Hole went off, it was awesome. But, you know, the opponent just playing around it, knowing that you have the Gravediggers, waiting for them to draw the Harpies or Lightning Storm or something like that, really put that card at a disadvantage. But the same thing, like with the Return of the Dragon Lord, if you run one of them, they can like play around it, but they're like playing these head games with people. They know the cards in the deck. They're gonna gamble and say like, ooh, you know, maybe if there's only one of them in the deck, they're less likely to play around it. But if there's 3 of them, they're definitely gonna be playing around it. Actually, I don't even know how many cards this is. That's probably like 40, but let's see. This is actually 39 cards, which is great. That means we got room. So let's add a Change of Heart, because I love Change of Heart. Moving on to the extra deck, we got Dragon. Obviously, one of the best cards in Red Eyes, and just probably in the game. Those of you who don't know what this card does, man, it does so much. You basically, your opponent can't destroy it. Nobody can target it. You can negate every single turn. You can pop things on the field every single turn. And every time you do negate and it destroys something, this permanently gains 1,000 attack. It's just one of the best cards in the game. You can really only get it playing or summoning off of Red Eyes Fusion. That is why you have to play the brick in the deck, the Dark Magician. We got 2 Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. Such a cool like metal Red Eyes. Can't be destroyed by card effects while it has Xyz material. When it has Xyz material, each time your opponent activates a card or effect, you get to inflict 500 damage to your opponent immediately after it resolves. Each turn, you can also detach a card from this and special summon a Red Eyes normal monster from your graveyard. I'm running 2. It's a good card. It's fun. It burns. I don't really see, like, we're not like, at least the way that I was building this deck, we're not necessarily focusing on the Xyz as much. I mean, obviously it is a part of the deck, but like you could run things like the Noctivision Dragon and other things to more efficiently and easily get out the Flare Metal, at least based on my experience. But I think 2 is okay. Got 2 Meteor Black Comet Dragon. This has got 3,500 attack. When this card's fusion summoned, you can send a Red Eyes monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard and then inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the monster's original attack. Then if this card is sent from the monster zone to the graveyard, you can target 1 normal monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Kind of just a neat way to get some extra burn. Has a lot of attack. And also, if you do play, where'd it go? If you do summon this using Red Eyes Fusion and then you play Inferno Fire Blast, well, it'll do 3,500 attack, because this no longer becomes Meteor Black Comet Dragon. It becomes Red Eyes Black Dragon, according to Red Eyes Fusion. So kind of cool there. Next up, we got some level 1 links. We got Guard Dragon Pisty. This has an effect, but the main thing you're doing with this is just being able to link away your Black Metal Dragon, so you can then proc its effect. Same thing with Striker Dragon. I'm not running any of the Dragon Link or the Rocket stuff in this deck. I mean, it's probably good, but like I don't really want to do that. Added the Dark Charmer to this deck, running a bunch of dark cards. I think it just kind of fits the deck. I got the Heavenly Spheres. I think this card's good for going first. Also, again, we are running a bunch of dragon cards, so kind of fitting for the deck. I got Zeus in the deck. Zeus is cool. It's a machine, and we need some extra room, or we had some extra room, so I want to throw some other cool cards in. And Zeus is awesome. Got Draco Sack. This card's cool. Allows us to make some tokens and kind of pop some things in the field. Kind of versatile. And we got Big Eye. I love Big Eye. It's a cool card. It's pretty simple too, but you just detach a material and target one monster on the field, and then you take control of it. Pretty sweet. And so it's 2 level 7 monsters, and all of our red eyes are level 7. So same thing with the red eyes flare and Draco Sack, 2 level 7s. I know there are some other level 7 cards or level 7 Xyz that probably would be fitting for the deck too, but this is all I got for right now. And we got First of the Dragons. This is a new card I actually bought. You need 2 normal monsters, and it cannot be destroyed by battle except by battle with a normal monster, and is unaffected by other monster effects. So if your opponent's got some dumb things going on with all monster effects and affect monsters, and you don't like that, you play this card if you're able to fusion summon it, and then it kind of gives them a pretty hard problem. So that leaves us with 13 cards. There's definitely a lot of other stuff we can add. Again, I don't really have too much. I saw some of like the Burl Sword, Burl End, Burl Load. SP Little Knight's a good card too, probably want to add. Just things like that. I think we have enough Red Eyes monsters in at least the extra deck that I think we need to substitute it with things that I guess give or provide some more answers. That's kind of like things like Draco Sack or like Big Eye. Just allows us to like do some different things that the Red Eyes monsters can't. Kind of some notable mentions. We got Slash Dragon. This is a cool dragon, don't get me wrong, but like this just isn't a good card in my opinion. It's just not practical. It is awesome looking though. Look how cool that card is. But it's not that good. Same thing, Darkness Metal. Love the art, love the design, but it's just not that good of a card. I really wanted to add the Super Poly build to this just because I really like Starving Venom, and it kind of fits the Dark Dragon thing that Red Eyes has got going on. However, there just is not enough room in the deck, so could not add that. But yeah, I think we essentially got like 5 Red Eyes monsters in the extra deck, which seems a little low. I think what we really need to do is, I want to keep the main deck as Red Eyes themed as possible, but I think where we're able to add some unique answers to problems, we can add within the extra deck. That's kind of like the route that I would like to go. But yeah, we got the burn Red Eye stuff up here. Then we got the supporting stuff. Because I mean, as much as you want to build a pure deck, I've learned that you can't in a sense, or you can, but you need to have ways of dealing with like problems that other decks are going to have. Because each archetype, Red Eye, Cyber Dragon, Cyber Darks, even like Dinos, they don't have answers to everything. So if you want to play with your favorite cards and you want to have some fun, you gotta throw in some other cards. But yeah, the extra deck definitely needs a little work, but I think we got some good cards. But really, Dragoon, Meteor Black Comet, and Red Eyes Flare are gonna be the main ones we're gonna want to be playing. Especially Dragoon, pretty much gonna want to see that every game. Now I want to go over probably my favorite part of this whole video or the deck is talking about what's bad, what we need to include, things that maybe you need to buy, but just more like decision trees on options to add. One thing, Allure of Darkness. Let's actually go down this route first. So a couple cards come to mind is Allure of Darkness and Cards of the Redstone. Yeah, that's probably really it. With Red Eyes, from my experience, and also somebody else in one of the other videos commented on that Red Eyes lacks kind of like the consistency or the draw. However, adding cards like Allure of Darkness or Cards of the Redstone can really help, get you your puzzle pieces and the answers that you need. So what Cards of the Redstone does is you can send 1 level 7 Red Eyes monster from your hand to the graveyard, then draw 2 cards. Then if you want, you can send another level 7 Red Eyes from your deck to the graveyard. Essentially, you're just kind of filling up your graveyard, drawing some cards. This does have like some benefits with sending cards to the graveyard, but maybe sometimes you don't want to all the time, or you don't have a card or level 7 Red Eyes in your hand, things like that. Allure of Darkness, you draw 2 cards and banish 1 dark monster from your hand, or if you don't have any in your hand, then you send all your cards to the graveyard. This is good in the sense where you just draw 2 cards and then banish something, Banishing isn't necessarily the best thing in this deck. Like, we banish with Red Eyes Darkness. We banish our Black Meteor Dragon. I don't love the idea of banishing, especially when we don't have really ways of getting these cards back. But at the same time, drawing 2 cards and getting rid of 1 that you don't really need is pretty good. And you get to draw 2, then banish. So that even makes it even better. almost every card in our deck is a dark. We are running 16 dark monsters, which is good. We do also have some other ones, you know. I don't know if that's enough or good of a ratio, but again, what this deck lacks is potentially like the consistency, and Allure of Darkness does help. We do have things like Pot of Prosperity that could be good too. Could be an option. However, I think not adding one of these is a mistake, and I think if I had to pick one, I think Allure of Darkness is my preferred card. The reason why I don't like cards of the Redstone is you need to have a level 7 Red Eyes in your hand, and then you're sending that to the graveyard. If you don't have that, you can't really activate this card. This requires just a dark monster, but even if you don't have a dark monster, you can still activate the card, then you're just running that risk. I don't think Allure of Darkness is on the ban list, but I'm just going to check. Okay, it is not on the ban list, so that's good. So I think we need to find room for one of those. Some other cards that we need to really consider: Triple Tactics Talon. I think we briefly talked about that before. Infinite Impermanence, definitely. We're not going to run the Super Poly. There is just not enough room, sadly, so that is a little sad. So definitely Noctivision I want to talk about. Probably not going to run it, but I do want to at least talk about it. Some honorable mentions that I was about to add, but ultimately opted to not. Red Eyes Fang with Chain. This is a good card. You can equip it to one of your Red Eyes monsters, and then you can almost like steal somebody else's effect monster. But the problem is I want to focus on like the burn aspect. This card is again good, but I think we can substitute this card with just something a little bit more, in a way, like synergistic with the burn cards that we kind of want to go for. Maybe that's a mistake, but that's just my thoughts. Red Eye Spirit, it's like a monster reborn for Red Eyes. We got Return of the Red Eyes over here. It's a little bit different, but I think that having that card at least is fine. We don't need Red Eye Spirit as well. Other Red Eye Souls, I mean, we have one in the deck. I don't think we need two. This is just a spare copy. Don't need Dragon Nails. I really like this card, don't get me wrong. Like when this card came out, it was pretty cool too. But they're just better cards out there. You can't search this either with anything. You can't even search it with Triple Tactics. There's not enough pros of running this. The Blackstone Legend, I just don't understand this card. I mean, it's a good 1-for-1 target, but you need to, that's like the only really benefit of that. So this card, you contribute this card, special summon one level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster from your deck. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster in your graveyard except Red Eyes be chick. Shuffle it into the deck. Basically, you can just special summon a Red Eyes monster, but you have to tribute this card. So the best way of using this card is using 1-for-1. Because if you normal summon this, you can't tribute it. So I just feel like this is a dead card a lot of the times. We have better cards in the deck. So that's kind of why I decided to not opt to play that one. Going through some of the other stuffs, we got more time engines. I don't think we really need it. We can also search for it since it's considered a Metamorph card. Infernal Fire Blast is tempting, but I just know it's a dead card sometimes, and two is tempting though. I kind of want to run 2. Possibly another Allure of Darkness might be just good. Noctivision we'll talk in a minute. Dad, Dark Arm Dragon. Again, it's kind of good. You need exactly 3 dark monsters in your graveyard to special summon. I think it's got potential, but there's not enough room for me to really want to play it. Dragon Shrine is just kind of like a little bit weaker of a card, at least compared to the other ones in the deck. Dark Eruption, you can add a dark monster with 1500 or less attack from your graveyard to your hand. Light Pulsar is tempting. This has got some good synergy with Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. I just don't know if we have the room. I like Dragon's Mirror. You can fusion summon 1 dragon fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed on it from your field or graveyard. Like, I like this because you could summon, I mean, you could get Dragoon out, but I think the main thing I'm thinking here is the Black Comet Dragon, or even that Fist, the first of the dragons. Like, I think Dragon's Mirror, if we're running like a lot of Allure of Darkness, I think Dragon's Mirror, even like one of them might have a spot, especially if you want to add like Triple Tactics. More Gravedigger's Trap Hole. This probably belongs in the sideboard. And Red Eyes Beat Chick, I think, is just like banned. You can't use it in any Red Eyes deck. So with all that being considered, I think these are like some other options. Noctivision Dragon, in case you guys don't know, when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a face-down card you control. Quick effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard and negate that effect. Also, your opponent cannot target that face-down card or cards with card effects for the rest of the turn. You can only use each of the following effects of Noctivision once per turn. If a Dark Dragon monster is special summoned to your field, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard as link material, you can draw a card. So like it kind of protects some of your face down cards, mostly going to be like maybe our traps. Also, we can get a free special summon, and this helps go into our XYZ plays. And if it's in our graveyard, or sorry, if it's sent to the graveyard with link material, you can draw a card. Like it does have a lot of good options. Ah man, this is a tempting card even to have one, because if it does sit in your graveyard, you can at least do something with it, and it's kind of almost always activated. Like we're going to be special summoning Dark Dragon monsters. It's probably worth considering adding, but let's just see where we find the room. So we definitely need to add a lure. I think even adding a triple tactic thrust and at least 1 or 2 infinite permanents to the deck would be ideal. As for room and space purposes, I think we said we had like 40 or 41 cards. So let's go with the cards that we absolutely cannot remove. We're not moving Red Eyes Black Fullmetal, obviously. We need one Red Eyes Darkness. We're gonna actually categorize the cards into what's their role in a sense. So here we have like the one-ofs in a sense. Actually, let's do like 1-for-1 targets. Not exactly sure how we want to do this, but I'll get something going. Alright, so over here, kind of just barely see. I'm moving a little bit more frame. We have the absolute Red Eyes monsters that we need. Need the Darkness Metal. We need the Black Fullmetal. We need the Dark Magician for the Red Eyes Dragoon plays. Need the Black Meteor Dragon. Maybe we could cut that to 2, but I don't want to do that until we absolutely have to. Red Eyes Black Dragon, we need 3. The Red Eyes Soul and alternative Black Dragon. I think Red Eyes Soul, we absolutely need 1. If I had to be honest with myself, we could probably cut that down. Or cut the Black Alternative Dragon out of the deck. I don't want to, because I think it's a good card. But if we had to cut it, I think that could be a card. For now, we're going to keep that. Over here, we have 2 Metal Illusionists. This is going to get us the Black Fullmetal Dragon. Rocket Synchron. Okay, so Bestial Magnamut. You can target 1 light or dark monster in either graveyard, banish it, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. It's a level 6. This is a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster. If this card is special summoned, you can activate this effect during the end phase of this turn. Add 1 dragon monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. If this card is special summoned, you can activate this card effect during the end phase of this turn. So you can kind of, yeah. I think it's too good to not run at least one of these. Being able to get something out of your opponent's graveyard, it's a good card. Like, there are a lot of light and dark monsters are really good. But also just being able to get any dragon monster from your deck is just, that's powerful. Rocket Synchron. This is going to allow us to revive something. I don't know. I feel bad. I feel like we don't really need this card, but also I haven't seen it in action, so I don't know how good it actually is. It has to be, oh wait, it has to be normal summoned. That does change things in the sense that I thought this would be like a 1-for-1 target. I think if we had to replace something, this card might be good and all, but I think Noctivision Dragon is probably a better option. I'm over here like preparing for like an LCS, but definitely not. The Ash Blossoms we definitely need for the cross out, and I need to get more infinite impermanents, but I think we'll at least throw 1, probably 2 infinite impermanents in here. Go with Max Metalmorph now. So the Max Metalmorph and the Time Engine can be searched with Metal Illusionist. This card you can reveal or set 1 metal. So if this is in our hand, we can reveal it and set a Metamorph trap from our deck. This is a Metamorph trap also. However, this card allows us to search for these two. The black Fullmetal Dragon allows us to search for both as well. The reason why I don't want to have no Metal Illusionist is because it can search for a Time Engine as well. We can also special summon it with 1-for-1, so there are some options there. Probably 3 Metamorph and 2 Metal Illusionist isn't the best in this deck, at least because I'm not using the Metal Zoa and everything like that. So I think, if you are doing that, there's obviously going to be benefits to running like a full kitted out Metal Illusionist and Metamorph deck, or like adding 3 of each, but for me it's probably not worth it. For that reason, let's try and remove 1 Metamorph. This still gives us, assuming it doesn't get negated, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6. We still have 3 different ways to search for this card. 3 ways to search for this card. I guess 5 ways. You're just gonna get the card in general, you know. So maybe we'll try that. Gravedigger's Trap Hole. I just like it. It's just spicy. Everybody uses monster effects on their hand or graveyard. We'll see the hand. And Return of the Red Eyes is just it just does too much. It's not the best card to have in your hand, but later in the game when you need it, it comes in handy. Let's kind of move these over a little bit. So let's get our cross out. I don't like running this whole package, cross outs, all the ash. You know, I feel like I could be using cooler cards, but at the same time, you do need ways of saving your characters, your monsters. So I think this probably needs 1 more infinite permanence too. Now, so this is just gonna be some good one-of cards. Harpy's Feather, Change of Heart. I just love those 2 cards. I gotta put them in every single deck. I just love them too much. Called by, we need the 1-for-1. Return of the Dragon Lords. It's all, yeah, Infernal Fire Blast. We need 1. And here is probably where we gotta throw the Allure of Darkness and then the Triple Tactics. If anything, maybe add another Triple Tactics. And I'm obviously forgetting the most important cards are Red Eyes Insight and the Red Eyes Fusion. It's just 5 more cards, but you kind of need them. I'm going to count these cards real quick. So this is actually 42 cards. Probably want 1 more infinite impermanence though, so 43. I think 44 is pushing it, but if we had to cut anything, you know, alternative Black Dragon could come out. The Gravedigger's Trap Hole could get moved to the sideboard. I really want to add more Infernal Fire Blast, but I will probably, I don't know if we could do that. The Dragon's Mirror though, it's not enough room. The Red Eyes Insight, I could definitely see some arguments of dropping 1 again because we can get it with Black Metal Dragon. And if we do run Triple Tactics Thrust, I forget about Triple Tactics Talent. We could even run 1 of those too. Although I think Thrust works pretty well in this deck. We got a lot of, I guess not a lot, but we do got some good targets. 1-for-1, Infernal Fire Blast, Allure of Darkness, Turn the Dragon Lords, Red Eye Fusion, I guess, and yeah, we got options. I know Triple Tactics Thrust is in this other sleeve, but I'm definitely going to put this in my Cyber Dragon deck. So I didn't want to forget. Man, Infinite Permanence is such a cool card. I think, okay, again, like this isn't like a pro tournament or anything, but from my understanding of the game, this seems to be like an okay starting point with this new black Fullmetal Dragon and kind of the idea of we want to go into burn or play more of like a burn variant of Red Eyes. There is a lot of potential in Noctivision though with the Red Eyes Flare Metal and just like the other level 8 plays. But how I'm envisioning this deck, I'm playing more, or I want to focus more on getting that Red Eyes Fusion out or summoned and getting, or even like the Black Comet Dragon and getting some burn that way. Kind of looking at this deck now, I think there should be more burn, you know? But like you don't need that much burn because it's only 8,000 life points. I mean, some people can gain life, but Red Eyes Black Fullmetal Dragon is going to be negating things each turn and doing some burn. Even if we get one Red Eyes Soul out, that does some extra burn. That's not even including any attacks that we're just getting normally. So like, even though like, I mean, we're obviously not going gung-ho into burn and trying to, you know, running 3 Infernal Fire Blasts and things like that. But like, at the same time, I don't think you need all that burn. You just got to make sure it gets off consistently and you deal with like the other threats that the game has to offer. So I can already see a bunch of comments coming in like that. Like, this isn't even a burn deck. You got like 2 burn cards. And like, I get it. Like, you know, you obviously want to play like as much of the things that you want to play as possible, but just being realistic with how the game's going to like go, you need to have like the answers and like actually getting the cards off to actually get played, as opposed to just cramming things in the deck that aren't really going to work. What do I know though? I barely play this game. Man, this card's so cool. This video is actually going to be very long. I was not anticipating. I mean, I could talk all day about this, but I didn't think it was going to be this long. But yeah, I'm gonna probably whip this deck together in, what is it, Why Go Omega? I kind of wish Master Duel had all these cards. Probably need to find out, yeah, we need to get Triple Texas Thrust, Infinite Permanence, and then probably at least need one more Allure. I think you can't just run one Allure, you know? It's a consistency card, so you kind of need it. That also is probably another reason to maybe even remove 1 or 2 like spells or something and add some extra dark monsters, just again to get that consistency and increase that probability that you're going to have a dark monster in your hand to banish. A lot of thoughts, a lot of things to consider, but it's all fun. I love deck crafting and theory crafting until you actually play the game and it whips your butt. But man, these 2 cards are so cool. And then you got the Red-Eyed Black Dragon, 3 cards, and then cards are so cool. I mean, don't get me wrong, Cyber Dragons is still my favorite, but like, Red Eyes, so cool. Especially the metal one. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Those who actually watched like this whole thing, let me know if you guys got any cool other decks you want me to maybe ramble about for like an hour. I think Blue Eyes is another cool one. Some Dino decks. Dinomorphia seems like a deck I kind of want to like maybe slap together, but I don't like to put too many decks together. I like to more focus on like 1 or 2 decks and just like grind those or like learn everything about them. I don't know. It's kind of how I've usually been. Anyway, take care, everybody. Check out some of the videos on the channel. We do get some other Red Eyes content, but not a lot of it. But it's an awesome archetype. All right, take care, everybody.